So how about winter? Winter is not what most people typically think when you live on the road. Winter is not the coldest season. By any means, it's the perfect weather season of life on the road. But being that we're living on the road, it's all about migrating, right? We move with the weather. We've said that a million times. And this is when it really shines through, because we have to go south once winter hits. Going south for this means we have a much smaller geographic region to work with our travels. So if you're going south in the U.S., which is where we're traveling, you are talking, like the tropical Florida area, or you're going to be on the west and you're going to be in the desert Southwest, namely Arizona. That's what we did, because we travel mostly on the western side now. We've already pretty much done the East Coast. So we ended up in Arizona for the winter. And think about that. Anyone living on the road, anyone traveling, snowbirding, whatever, they're going to be doing the same thing, and they will end up in, let's say the Arizona region. Well, half of them at least are going to end up in Arizona. So again, now you have a smaller region with a lot more people. So that's one consideration in winter, is there's not quite as many places to get away from people if you want private camping spots. If you're campgrounding, the campgrounds are going to be more packed. Again, we don't pay for camping. We do a lot of public land, and we did see some people on the public lands, but we still found some quiet spots, so it wasn't too bad. I would just take note that, yeah, the campgrounds are going to be full. Yeah, a lot of the RVs try to get out to the BLM land and stuff, but they pretty much pull in and park close because they can't really go too far. But
yeah, they'll be on the fringes.
They pretty much all have Jeeps, so they can get in farther, but they're not staying in there. So if you can get back farther, you pretty much get left alone.
You can get a good
you don't see anybody
spot
all day, which is nice.
Yeah, we had a lot of nice, quiet camping spots when we were in Arizona, so that was a definite plus. And so what else?
So you got to get used to the sand.
Oh yeah, that's one.
Pacific Northwest is great with the grass and the trees and the water and everything. It's fantastic, but once you get down there, it's a lot of sand everywhere. So, which is not a bad thing, but it's definitely different. You got to get used to a lot of sand in the car, especially with dogs.
It's more of a desert region. It's more of a desert climate, but it does vary, and it's important to note in Arizona. The northeast region is quite different than the southwest region. The southwest region of the state is your typical desert sand environment, and the northeast region is the plateau. So it's a bit colder up there, and you can get completely different weather and ecosystems depending on where you're at in the state. Which means, again, that means even more people are probably crunched down in the warmest section, especially in the depths of winter when it gets cold. Everyone's going to be, crowded in that warmest region. And so, yeah, we did notice a lot of crowds in those parts. So,
yeah, and there's not a lot of big cities down there, so they're pretty much going to be Phoenix, Tucson, Yuma, and Quartzsite. So those are like the four major places for meccas for the RVers and snowbirds. So the Walmart parking lots, though, are not that busy, though. So there's not a lot of we didn't see a lot of people traveling in their cars or vans down there.
So if you're sleeping in the city,
you got plenty of room there. They don't seem to mind it.
We saw a lot of RVs. We did see a lot of RVers down there, and also some snowbirds that aren't living on the road, but go down,
have a place in both places, north and south.
So RVers and snowbirds abundant. Not a lot of. I didn't see a lot of van lifers or a lot of other, maybe a few down there, but mostly RVers in Arizona is what you'll come across. But yeah, aside from it being desert and sandy, you're probably going to be in near perfect weather. Like I said at the beginning, that's your best weather season. So that's the good side of it, is near perfect weather. You might get a little bit of heat, and so you'll need to take into considerations the things we talked about when we talk about summer. So, you know, your vehicle getting really hot, if you have dogs, what to do with those, ducking into stores or parks or whatever. It's kind of saves you there. And going to elevation, if you can get up in the national forest lands, climb up into the mountains. There are mountains. It's not all just flat desert. I don't know, you know, some people that haven't been there don't realize there are mountains in Arizona, and you can get many different climate systems as you move up into the mountains. So you can kind of escape some heat if you want to. Of course,
they get sporadic rain too, so just keep an eye out of the weather, because it's not good to not see that the rain's coming when you're on a back road, because flash floods happen a lot down there.
Yeah, it didn't seem too bad in the winter for us.
We ran into more wind.
So, you know, and you're also going to want to find, well, you typically find water when it's hot, right? But here's a word of caution for the Southwest. The water is a little few and far between in the Southwest in the winter, and the water we did find was pretty murky, probably pretty heavily polluted. There's a lot of mines that contribute to polluting the water. So we basically spent a lot of time around, we did spend aside from, like in the National Forest, we were in the Coconino National Forest in the south. It's a little bit a ways from Tucson. We spent quite a bit of time in Tucson, which we're typically not city dwellers, but Tucson was pretty cool. As we talked about in other videos, the astronomy and all of the other things that we were able to find to do there, and some good parks. We've talked about that in other videos. We talked about things you can do in that region. We did make it up to Flagstaff, and Flagstaff is completely different. Keep that in mind. It's cold. They do get winter there, so if you...
Yeah, I think we left Tucson, it was 80, and we got to Flagstaff, and it was 32, and I think it got to... That was their high. Mm-hmm. And we slept there, and it was like 6, I think, at night, so if you're not going farther south than that, it's going to be a long winter.
Yeah, you're not going to stay up on the plateau.
It's not fun.
In the winter, so, I mean, yeah, you'll freeze. Let's see, what else?
The other great thing about Arizona is there's no bugs, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
You can actually eat outside,
winter,
and then you always wonder why you don't eat outside more often, but there's no bugs down there.
Once spring comes, you're, oh yeah, bugs.
Yeah. The temperature's perfect, and there's no bugs, so you can be outside all the time and not have to worry about when you're cooking or flies or anything.
You might be able to plan for some activities in Southern California as well. You get quite a bit of good weather there, similar Southwest desert region. Some Mojave fun. You might get, when the good weather comes in, you can go over to New Mexico, but again, keep in mind it does get chilly up in the mountains in New Mexico as well. And you might be able to clip a little bit of southern Colorado, but again, that area does see snow in the winter and it's cold too. So those are sort of some options if you need to kind of duck out of Arizona for a change if you're down there for the winter. But those are the things to consider for your living on the road and traveling in winter.